Well, hey, what's up, everyone? How's it going? Man, I was having one heck of a time trying to get into my own live show on time. So thank you all for joining. Today is just going to be a solo show, just question and answer session. Like, just ask me whatever questions you have. Let me know. Kind of be talking a little bit about how the last couple weeks have gone as far as training goes. But obviously, if you guys have anything that you want to know, let me know. Also in the chat, shout out where you're watching from, what your name is, and yeah, what else do we normally put at the top of the show? I don't know. We're just gonna get into the intro video, and I'll be right back here in just a second. Okay. All right, well, we're back. Mandy's in the house. How's it going, Mandy? Oh, man. You know what? For some reason, I don't ever check these settings before I start the show. So some of these things are a little bit oddly sized. Lave's here. What's up? Greetings from the tropical part of Indiana, 33 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, I feel you, man. Plots 33 is here. Hey, everyone from Illinois. Awesome. Motivational Theory Running's here. He's got a YouTube channel. Go check him out. JDS54. It's 60 in South Louisiana. Man, take me there. Joe Spivvy's here. Daniel Ski's here. 33 degrees in Nash Vegas, Tennessee. Chase the Summit. Is this going to be the best live stream yet? Inside joke. Yep. Aaron Townsend's here, South Texas. Hello, everyone. Kentucky. Ultra Dads from Middletown, Ohio. Motivational Theories from John, Virginia. What's up? New subscriber. Gareth Davis. Thank you. I wish I could. I want to try and resize that so it will get the whole, maybe that way. Yeah, I just resized that. So if someone new subscribes, maybe their name won't be cut off on two lines. John's here from Cali. Trizak, sorry. Moose Prisby's here from Moose Shreveport, LA. Awesome. Jen Rumi's watching on the treadmill from... Oh no, we're left hanging. Well, he's on the treadmill. She's on it. Is it? Yeah. Jem is on the treadmill, so... maybe we'll find out where you're from. Tyler Souls, hello from Colorado. What's up? Yeah. Chase the Summit. My Ecamm has been resizing lately too. I think it's a 1080p. Yeah. I believe I'm probably streaming in 4K right now. In fact, let me check. Yep. Streaming in 4K. So that's awesome. In fact, it actually doesn't even do anything except there's probably a slightly longer delay between when like I see comments and when I can respond to them. So sorry. Oh, the graphics will be in 4K. But the camera right now, I just have it set on 1080 just because I wasn't trying to like overheat the Sony. But turns out it doesn't matter. The reason why sometimes it does switch to 4K is because anytime I do like screen recording for videos that I normally post to the channel, I use Ecamm because it's got just a super simple interface to record the screen, and you can do it in 4K, you can do it 24 frames a second, and it's just super easy. But then I forget to put it back to 1080 and 30 frames a second when I live stream. So if you don't know anything about cameras or anything like that, sorry, the last 30 seconds was probably super boring. But yeah, there's a lot of things you got to look out for when you live stream and make videos. Brian Poe's here, Northern California. Oh, there we go. Jem finally figured out from Sydney, Australia on day 9 of the Air Viper across the globe. Oh yeah, I'm doing that too. I actually forgot about that last day or two, but, yeah, training's been, just like, it's felt like super crazy, recently. Let me know if you guys have been feeling like any sort of like, I don't know if you, so for me, the reason why it's been feeling crazy is because I've kind of jumped into a more intense part of my training plan. So, over kind of like, what am I? I think I'm 19 weeks out right now from the Cruel Jewel. So things are starting to heat up like big time. Let's see here. Yeah. 19 weeks out from the Cruel Jewel. So typically, around this time I'm working on kind of like the higher intensity, like VO2 max sort of, intervals, trying to get some back into that 50 to 60 mile range, per week. Last year at this time, I was also doing most of my runs on the treadmill, but I was into the like 40 mile range. And then pretty much around this time, I was also like up into the 50s and 60s. So you'll see that, like, if you follow me on Strava, like that'll start happening. You'll see some longer miles. And then this year, the biggest thing that I'm able to change now that I do have a treadmill at my house, which makes it super easy to make training happen, is I'm able to get a whole lot more vertical and really like focus a lot more of my efforts on it, because I'm not having to spend a whole lot of time driving to and from like a gym to use a treadmill, or driving to and from trails that have big hills. Like I can just literally walk into my garage and step on the treadmill and put it up at 15% and just start cranking out some vertical gain. And it's been such an awesome thing, honestly. And so, yeah, like so far this week, like I've got, yesterday, I did just like an hour and 10 minutes, like at lunch, and I got 2,600 feet of gain over 5 miles. Today I did a workout, hour and 5 minutes, just over 5 miles, and got 3,000 feet of gain. And what I was doing, was, let me see if I can pull this up without, yeah, let's do that. Can you guys see that? There we go. So this is the workout I had today. I was kind of shooting for maybe an hour and a half, but I was getting to the point of being just totally cooked by the end of these intervals. I was shooting for 8 times 4-minute intervals of 15%, going hard. And so this is like my power target. I kind of shot my power target a little bit low, like in these intervals that I set up. I'll see if I can hide this and then turn on just like everything. Show all. That didn't work. Yeah, there we go. So we've got, purple is power, green is speed or pace, red is the heart rate, yellow is cadence, and then this is like a representation of the incline I was on. And it wasn't that steep, like that looks really steep, but it was at 15%. Let me see if I can take my face off of this, so you guys can see the whole thing. I don't know how it's going on. Okay. Anyway, that's not going to happen but I'll just put it up towards the top of the screen. But yeah, my power is pretty consistent over each of these intervals. I did have to take some extra time, like in between a couple intervals, because by the 4th interval of doing 4 minutes at like 380 watts, I was just starting to get really cooked. I did get 2 extra intervals in after I thought I might be done. But yeah, so 6 intervals at about 380 watts for 4 minutes, climbing at 15%. My pace it wasn't anything crazy. It was like just under 11 minutes for each of these intervals. And then for the 2, I would spend 2 minutes in between. It was just kind of more at a recovery pace of like 20 minutes. Like I was walking basically. But yeah, there's quite a bit of time was spent. There you can see it in zone 5 and zone 6 of my power ranges. So that was a workout today, and it was really hard. But it was great. Like, it's so good to like start feeling like I'm doing these hard workouts again. It's just so much fun. Gosh, I see some of you comments about 4K. Yeah, thanks, Dave. No, actually, the camera's in 1080, so you can't see everything on my face. Yeah, let's see. Who else is here? Andrew Ryder's here. Hello from Hudson Valley, New York. Not fast, just far, says Ryan. You rock, man. Long-time caller, first-time listener here from Northern Michigan. Appreciate everything you put out. Awesome. Thanks, man. Motivational Theory Running says, are you just power hiking that vert on the treadmill? So yeah, every run is a little bit different. Like yesterday, I was doing like mile intervals. So I would run a mile and then hike a mile, run a mile, hike a mile. And today I was actually doing like harder intervals. So I was actually running up 15%, which was like pretty tough for 4-minute intervals. But yeah, every workout will be a little bit different. But I'm like, if you guys saw my goals video from a couple days ago, shooting for by May 14th to have hit 1,000 miles and 300,000 feet of vert for the Cruel Jewel. And it's funny, like I got kind of some feedback on that. Like people were like, that's like too much. But it's I don't know. I mean, it's a target, it's a goal. Like if I don't hit it, at least I'll have tried really hard getting there. Yeah, it's going to average like 17,000 feet of game per week. So that means pretty much every day shooting for at least like 2,000 to 2,500, and then getting, or like even if I hit like 1,500 or 2,000 per run on the treadmill, over the weekend, I can get a couple thousand extra. And so, yeah, it's going to be tough. But when you think about 300,000 feet over 4.5 months, that's like, that's not even 10 times what the race is going to be. Like the race is going to be 33,000 feet, over the course of 100 miles. So it's, I feel like I've got a good goal, to shoot for. And if I fall short and I only get like 200,000 or 250,000, like that'll still be like more vert than I've ever climbed, in like a whole year. So the goal is to just keep putting in the work and just daily showing up, and putting in the work and putting in the hard work too. Like the climbing, like it's not as fun as running like big miles, like going out for a 10 or 15 mile run. Like that's really fun. Hiking on a treadmill for a couple hours is not very fun. But if you want to do big races, with lots of climbing, there's just a different way to train for it, than, just going out and like doing a road race or something. Like you got to train specifically for the race you want to do. So David Jobs says, picked up a pair of the Lone Peak 4.5, great shoes, but way different than running with Brooks or Hoka's. Yeah, that's for sure. I don't know. I haven't run in Brooks or Hoka's in a long time. Like 5 years. Let's see here. What, Moose Prisby says, what are you using to get that power figure on Training Peaks? So I use a device called Stride, and show you what it looks like here. So this is Stride's website, and it's just this little clip that you put on your laces, little pod. There's a good picture of it right there. And it tracks, let's see, it tracks your power, it tracks your cadence, it tracks your pace, it tracks your temperature. Tracks the elevation. It tracks. There's other things like there's a few other things, but those are like the main ones. So what power is it's basically just like a representation of the work you're putting out at any given moment. And so it's much quicker to respond like in a training scenario than heart rate or like even pace is like it's a little bit. They're all just different. Like they're different ways of reading what type of work you're doing. And you can get in arguments with people like from every different direction. You've got people that strictly train by pace, people that strictly train by heart rate, power, rate of perceived exertion. But the biggest thing is like if you can use them all to put the whole puzzle together, like that's where you can really benefit from having a lot of different types of data. If you train only by heart rate, you're not going to, like intervals are going to be really hard to accomplish because if you want to start off an interval and it's like a 4-minute interval in zone 5, like it's going to take you like 2 minutes to get there sometimes into that zone 5, maybe a minute. And so for that whole first minute or two, you're just kind of shooting into the dark and you don't really know how hard you should be going because your heart rate takes a while to catch up. Same thing with pace. If you're running outside and you're going downhill or uphill, your pace is not always relevant, not always exactly lining up with the amount of effort you're putting out. Power is one of those things where it's typically the most consistent with how much effort you're putting out, and it can be fooled in different ways as well, especially with running. The science and all the metrics behind it, like it's not as exact as a measuring tool as in cycling. Like with cycling, you've got the pedals and you got the crank, and it's actually measuring the strain on the crank, and you can't really get around. There's not a whole lot of ways to fake that, but with running there are, and it's not a perfect measurement by any means. But if you put them all together, you'll get a pretty good idea of like how much work you're putting out. So that's why, like, if you're looking at your heart rate versus your power versus your speed, pace, versus your rate of perceived exertion, you can really target intervals really well. And so that's what I do. Is I've been using Stride for a year or more, maybe at this point, but I've been training with power on the bike for a long time. And so, like power, you'll get an instant like data response. So if you're trying to hit like 380 watts, like as soon as you start running harder, it's going to immediately respond and give you a number. So yeah, that's how I'm getting the power figure into Training Peaks, and how I'm training off of it. One question I did have, and those of you that are here, like in the chat, let me know. I'm putting a video together. They'll hopefully be up maybe tomorrow, maybe the day after. Just kind of like reviewing my favorite app that I've found for like running on the treadmill. But if you guys use any apps like on the Apple Watch or iPhone, let me know what they are, because I don't want to like miss something that's really good. Like I found a bunch like through the App Store and through different like websites, and just kind of searching around. My goals were to find something that connected to Stride, connected to a Bluetooth heart rate monitor, and then also connected to my treadmill via Bluetooth. And it's actually really hard to find a single app or device that can do all of that. None of my watches can connect to my treadmill. So it was like I was kind of looking for an iPhone app that would work. So, because I was, over the last couple of weeks of having a treadmill, just really been like trying to find the simplest way to get all of my data in one place, in one file, so that I could push it out to Training Peaks and push it out to Strava and have all of my data like synced up everywhere. And that's actually harder than it should be. But I have found a good app. But if you guys have any ideas, put them in the chat. Jem Rumi says, Stride FootPod is pretty expensive though. Is it worth the money? Yeah, it's $220 US. But I think it's totally worth the money. If you're going to be looking at your data, if you're going to be kind of analyzing stuff after the fact, or if you're the type of athlete that really likes to do a lot of intervals, it's definitely worth it. If you don't do a ton of intervals, and then you don't really look at your data afterwards, like you're really just concerned with how many miles you ran, maybe what your pace was, but you're not concerned with it being like super exact or having a ton of data, then it's probably not worth it for you. But if you think you might be interested in that stuff in the future, give it a shot. Because it's definitely more accurate in a lot of ways than just a GPS watch or just an iPhone app. Like if you run with like the Strava app and your phone like strapped to your arm or something, getting a Stride pod will be a lot cheaper than, in some cases, than buying a GPS watch, and it will connect to your phone, and it can really really upgrade your data if you just run with a phone. Like that's one of the people that ask about it. If there's people that just are out there that run with their phone, and you want to get really good data, but you're not sure on what GPS watch to get or whatever, getting a Stride pod can like really upgrade your data and like how much you can dig into all of that. Hi from Malaysia. Hada Hakima bin Huzaidi. Nice. Patrick says, I got myself a trainer for the mountain bike so that I could do some cross training in the winter. Thoughts on replacing a run with a ride if I maintain a similar intensity when the weather is nasty? Yeah. I mean, that's a really good thing to do. Like just in general, especially if you feel like possibly like an injury coming on or something, because riding on the bike, especially indoors on a trainer, can be much easier on your joints and much easier on your body than going for a run. So if you need a recovery day, like for myself, like I used to do this a lot. I used to, on a recovery day, I would I would get on the bike. But on like now that I'm like pretty much running every day, I don't really need like a recovery day that's just no running. But if I was like feeling an injury coming on or something like that, it would be a great thing to do, because though you're not going to be able to mimic like all the muscle and ligament work that's going to be happening in your legs when you go for a run, like you will be able to mimic some of the like cardiovascular benefits that you can get from riding a bike on a trainer. So that's really good. Let's see here. Plus 33. What are your plans for downhill training? Yes, that's the question that I got that question several times. And that's a good question, because I actually wanted to talk about, I mean, I wasn't going to like, I don't know. It's a good question. And a lot of people have asked me about this, because yes, my treadmill, and most treadmills for that matter, don't do a negative incline or like a decline. Most of them just go up, and that's what mine does. It's just a pretty basic entry-level treadmill. And so there's a lot of, like, obviously in a ultramarathon or any type of like trail race, typically if you go up, you're also going to have to come down, and you should definitely train for that. So for Cruel Jewel, I'll be going up 33,000 feet and down 33,000 feet. So from my perspective, I'm just looking at I'm looking at my training situation, and I'm saying, okay, the best case scenario is that I train as well as I can. And though that might not be perfect, it's going to be better than not training at all, or only running on flat ground, or only getting out and running trails once a week and getting maybe like 3,000 or 4,000 feet up and down if I'm lucky. I'm still going to be, obviously I'm not doing every run on the treadmill from now until the race. So I'm still going to be getting out on the trails and getting a lot of downhill. I've also got, there's a half mile, we have like, I mean, this is Indiana. Okay. So we have a half mile hill that I've found that is about 140 feet up and down. So I can get to this hill and I can just do repeats up and down it. A couple years ago when I was training for Grindstone, I did a 20-mile run on this half mile section, just up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down 40 times. Well, actually it's like 0.45 miles. So I had to do it like more than 40 times to get my 20 miles in. But what I'll do is when I start getting, when I am training downhill, I'll be very intentional about it. And, like running downhill's hard, like really trying to put extra work on my legs. And then, you take what you can get, honestly. No one, like if you've got a full-time job, if you've got a family that you have to take care of, if you have other responsibilities, you're probably not a professional runner and you can't train perfectly. And so you just take what you can get. And that's the situation I'm in. So the situation I'm in is that I have means to train really well on how many miles I can run, how many days in a week I can run, what type of cross training I can do, like recovery techniques, tactics. And then I can also now get a whole lot of vertical gain. The thing that's missing is the vertical loss, descent. But I will be getting in specific sessions over the next 4 months that are specifically targeting the downhill running. But it's kind of like when it comes down to it, it's like I'm going to do the best with what I have. And if I can get X amount of feet vertical per day, per week, per month, and it's really good training, then I'm just going to be really prepared for all the uphills. I'm going to be able to climb better than I ever have before. The downhills will be rough in certain parts. They're always rough. And yeah, might not be trained as perfectly well as I could if I lived out in Colorado or something and had mountains out in my backyard that I could just go get a couple thousand feet up, couple thousand feet down. But it is what it is. So I'm making the best with what I have. But good question is something that was asked by several people recently. And yeah, just kind of, you make the best with what you have. Motivational Theory Running says, I hate that my treadmill does not connect to anything, so Vert never gets into Strava. Yeah. If it has Bluetooth, though, you might be able to find an app that can work. But yeah, it's annoying. And I've actually, I reached out to Strava and just got a response that had no concern for customer service back, basically saying, this is how it is. Sorry. The way Strava works is if there is a GPS point in your fit file or your TCX file, whatever you upload, no matter if there's just one singular point or if it's a whole track, it's going to throw out the vertical gain data that's embedded in the fit file, and it's going to measure it against its own maps, which is, I think it was probably intended to for good use, but that makes me actually really concerned about other runs and why. And now it makes sense because I actually, after getting this response back, it makes sense as to why I would be out and I would be like training and doing a bunch of repeats on a hill or go to a race. And at the end of the race, my watch would show No Business was a perfect example of that. My watch showed like 13,000 feet and something. And then when I uploaded to Strava, it said like 12,000. And I was like, what in the world? Like, but sometimes you just like, sometimes you don't care about it. And so you don't really investigate it. And there's like no information really on this. Like I had to get this response from customer service. And they just said that, yeah, if there's any GPS data in the file, we ignore the vertical gain that's in the fit file and we measure it against our own maps. And so that's why you'll get different vertical gain data from your watch versus what gets uploaded to Strava. The only way that Strava will read what's in the fit file or the TCX file is if it's like the place on the map is unknown. And so that's why like this app I've been using, it draws a map like in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And so Strava doesn't, it's an area that has been determined that Strava doesn't have elevation data in this area. And so they use what's in the file. Same thing with Zwift, but I think Zwift actually has like also an agreement with Strava probably that any files that's uploaded from Zwift, they use the data that's in the file because there's probably some agreement there because those are actually on like real roads and mountains and stuff. But maybe Zwift is also actually, now that I think about that, like maybe they've actually worked that out so that they've gotten around this like Strava oddity or like weird choice that they've made. Yeah. Strava's an odd company. I don't know. Hopefully they're making improvements. I know they've made a lot of changes recently. Hopefully they keep getting better. Kyle says, how many feet of incline do you shoot for each week? A lot of times I haven't really had a specific goal because I was just honestly trying to make the best of what I could, with what I had, getting out on trails once or twice a week. But now that I actually have a way to target, I'm shooting for somewhere around like, I think it's like 17,000. I think that's what I have on my Strava. Like I put it on my Strava, my training goal. Yeah. So for the week, shooting for 55 miles a week, 17,000 feet of gain, a week. And that'll get me, to the Cruel Jewel with 1,000 miles and 300,000 feet of vert. So if I can hit that goal every week over the next 19 weeks, I'll be in pretty good shape. I'll be maybe trained a little bit decent. But, yeah, Motivational Theory Running says, I've put blocks under the back of my treadmill, maybe the most 3%. That's like, that kind of scares me. Like I've thought about doing that too. I was like, man, maybe I can put some cinder blocks or get, Dave from Chase the Summit actually sent me a link to something that he used a while back, and they were like these foam bricks that you use for like cross training or something. No, it was like to put underneath air conditioners. But he said he used it underneath his treadmill and it worked really well. So I don't know. I'm a little scared to do that on my treadmill, but yeah, maybe I'll do something like that. Patrick says, anyone ever tried fixing some glitchy GPS data? I don't want to remove the whole run. It was a marathon race, but now I have an unreasonable 5K, 10K PR due to glitchy GPS data. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the specifics around that, but you could, I think probably the best thing to do would be to, I think you can manually update your PRs in Strava. Or you could just delete the file and upload a manual entry. But I don't know. I think all the PRs are able to be edited because it never finds my correct PR. Like, I don't know. That's another thing. Like Strava, I don't know. Jonathan L. Okay, Ryan, thoughts on using the Stairmaster to help train for hills? Yeah, I actually did that a lot last year too, because I was actually going to a gym, and so they had a bunch of treadmills, and they also had a bunch of Stairmasters. And yeah, I think that's really good. If you're, obviously you want to train specifically for your race. So if you've got a race, like maybe, say you're going to Hard Rock or something, and you're going to be doing like incredibly steep climbs, Stairmaster would probably be good. But most, like a lot of climbs in races aren't like 45 degrees like a Stairmaster is. I mean, you could probably, like, that would be a lot more like cross training. I would see that as like really training your quads, hips, knees, calves, more of like cross training sort of situation. So I would probably do that maybe like once or twice a week at the most, and just put in some really good hard efforts on that. Call it a day, similar to like box jumps or different like calisthenic exercises, things like that. Because the other thing that you got to think about, kind of, and now this is getting like really, really picky about training, which I just spent 10 minutes telling you not to be picky about it. But also the angle that your foot is like hitting the treadmill is perfectly flat. So you're going to be using slightly different muscles and like the ankle angles than if you were actually on a hill that was that angle. So if you're getting really picky about your training, like you could look at that, but yeah, I would put it in the same category as more like cross training, and stick to a treadmill with like a steep grade or actual real hills. But sometimes you don't have those. Demaje Brown says, ever thought about doing a running training camp, either solo or with a group? Yeah, that would be really fun. Man, I've got a couple friends, and we've talked about doing this before, where we just go to like a place, like go to a park. Like we've talked about going to Frozen Head like several times. And I mean, there's a chance that might happen this year, if things can calm down, which I don't know if they will or not. But just going and like camping for a night or 2 nights or something, or staying in a hotel close or something, and just getting some serious training, like 2 or 3 days in a row. I think like something like that is extremely valuable. You can get a really, really good kickstart to training. You see, professional athletes do that all the time. Like they'll do camps because when you can take your body and like really put that much stress on it in a short amount of time, if you allow yourself the proper recovery after, which is like a small window maybe, and then get back into your training, like it can be really, really good, and you can get some really solid, especially and the biggest thing is kind of that experience of maybe a race situation. Like maybe you're going to a place that's similar to the race you're training for. So you're getting like specific trails or specific climbs in that might really matter come race day. The other thing is just the mental training of being, just being extremely beat down. The physical side of that too, but the mental side of just like getting out of bed and like knowing, okay, yeah, I did we did 20 miles yesterday, and we're going to do 30 miles today, and we're going to be doing 20 the next day. We're going to be like really like putting in some serious work, and like that mental side is really, really valuable. And you can learn a lot about yourself, and you can get a lot of like really good training in to help yourself like make good decisions like when you're in a race towards the end, when it's pretty much like all mental anyway at that point, and you're just trying not to quit. A weekend like that, or a week where you go and put in some just like massive efforts and really like beat yourself down, as long as you don't get injured, as long as you can recover properly afterwards, something like that can be really, really beneficial. in more ways than just the physical adaptations that you'll get from it. All right. Spiro says, the Strava website allows you to correct the distance for an activity. Don't know exactly how it works, but you might fix the GPS track. Yeah. There's some things like you can fix some things, but you can't fix other things. And yeah, Strava's weird. Like they're in this amazing position of being the most popular app for runners and cyclists. And an incredible, their social media, there's just some weird things that you still can't do. The biggest thing, you still can't add shoes or modify shoes on the app. Like, why not? Like, how is that so hard to make happen? It's just, it's unbelievable, honestly. I mean, and people have been asking for that for 5 years, more than 5 years probably. But just every single, every single update they come out with, there's 100 comments on everything. It says why can't we add shoes on mobile? Labe says, I wrote back and forth to Strava last February about elevation discrepancy with my Coros watch. After that, it's straightened out, and now the vert readings are the same. Huh. Interesting. I wonder what they did to fix it. Not fast, just far says, I'm in for a group run, need a crazy adventure. Awesome. That'd be cool. Patrick says, thanks for the info, guys. I'll try and dig a bit further. Logan says, hey, Ryan, thoughts on using the continuous glucose monitor or any of the athlete blood testing services to optimize training or fueling strategies? I've never done that, but that could be really, really cool. Oh, what's up? Demaji Brown, $5.99 super chat. Thank you so much, man. That means a lot. Thank you. We should see something on the screen. My alerts aren't working properly, but there it is. There it is. Thanks, man. Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. So back to Logan's question, thoughts on using a continuous glucose monitor. That's something that you can make that happen. I don't know of anybody that really does it regularly on their own, unless they need to. But there's you can go watch Lionel Sanders. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him, but he's a professional triathlete. He's got a fantastic YouTube channel, and he does a lot of that kind of pushing the limit tests, sort of stuff like that, trying to, he just did a whole series, it was probably a year ago maybe, where he went down to Kona and did Kona, Hawaii, and he did just tons of tests, down in that environment, sweat tests, hydration tests, fueling tests, all sorts of stuff, just really, really fascinating stuff. I don't have any experience working on that or doing anything like that. The only blood testing services to optimize training and fueling strategies. I did use Inside Tracker for a while, and I technically still have an account on there, and I can still go in and see my information. And that was really interesting to get a little insight into some of that kind of stuff. But yeah, if you're interested in that, I would check out Inside Tracker. They're pretty cool. Really good company. And I think they're doing good things. But that's you go to their website and you order a package, of, results basically. And then they send you a voucher to go down to your local, for me, it was just some hospital testing facility, and they took my blood. It took 2 minutes, and then they mail the results to Inside Tracker or email them somehow. And then Inside Tracker kind of interprets them and gives you information based off that. And it was pretty cool. But Labe says, I stopped correcting the elevation because the numbers keep going lower and lower every time if you correct it. Oh, that's weird. Gosh. I didn't know that either. So if you start correcting things on Strava, they will start anticipating it for you. Oh my gosh. I didn't think we were going to talk about Strava this whole live stream, but I guess we are. Before I forget, I do want to, I meant to do this like right at the top of the show. But I do want to shout out the new channel members, because if you didn't know, you can become a member of the channel and support what I'm doing here. But just in the last like week or so, Darren Horton, Jonathan Elk, and Aaron Townsend, thank you guys so much for being channel members. That's really cool that you guys would do something like that. And yeah, it helps me what I'm trying to do here. Also today, I don't know if anybody has seen, but we just crossed 9,000 subscribers this morning. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm just like blown away every time I kind of like check in on that, because it's just so incredible that like a couple thousand people like come and watch my videos. But yeah, I hope you guys are getting value out of it. And like that's honestly like that's why I love doing this live stream stuff, because I love just having these like kind of like hangout times, question and answer, and just like hanging out with you guys. I just think it's fun. But so thank you all. Devin Ingram says, hey Ryan, I was curious to know if you take any vitamins or supplements. Yeah, I take just a kind of I don't remember the brand name, but it's like a sports multivitamin. I just get it off Amazon. And then I take something called Bioastin. I think that's what it's called. I should look it up. I'm just looking it up really quick, because that would be kind of weird if I was telling you something that I wasn't actually taking. Yeah, Bioastin, and it's just kind of like it's like a antioxidant. It just helps with like, I believe it's like joint health, things like that. And then that's it. I used to take a ton of supplements. Like I used to take like everything I read about that I thought might help me. I take CBD also. But yeah, not a whole lot anymore. I used to take a whole bunch of stuff, and it got expensive. Like when you're putting, and it can get really easy to spend like $200 a month on supplements. Like you can do that no problem. And it was just like, after a while, I just like slowly started getting rid of them and didn't really notice much difference. I do think that what I take now, multivitamin, Bioastin, and CBD, I do feel like those are all beneficial. But yeah, I'm not advocating anybody to take any type of supplements. Just telling you what I do. Oh, Aaron, you're here. Awesome. Thanks, man. Jonathan Elk says, go team. Awesome. Yeah, also wanted to let you guys know that I'm working on, I think I did mention this in the video, that my goals video that I posted, but I'm working on training plans specifically for ultra running. So if you guys, if you like put in the chat, like if you have anything like specific that you're interested in, like would it make more sense to do kind of like general training plans, or would you want things that are focused specifically on race distances? Are there extra things that you would want in there besides just like specific workouts for every day? I'm not a nutritionalist, so I legally can't recommend or prescribe certain things. Like I can recommend things, but I can't like make a training plan that includes nutrition information. legally. So don't take people's advice that do that who aren't nutritionists. But yeah, let me know if you guys would, like what kind of stuff you guys would want, because I think it'd be fun to put together something like 100-mile training plan, 50-mile training plan, maybe 50K. And then I don't know. I mean, if you guys would be interested on like marathon or less as well. But yeah, planning on putting them out on Training Peaks. So if you guys are on Training Peaks, you can like buy them there, and then also like in PDF format. So it's like super easy. So you can just download it and check off boxes, do however you want to do it. But I'm really excited about that, because I have been over the years been coaching individual athletes, and like writing every specific workout every day. I've been a coach now it's been over 5 years that I've been doing this. And so, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a long time, but when you think about writing workouts for multiple athletes every single day for 5 years, like that's a lot. And I'm, becoming, more interested in, kind of like, I guess, helping out like more people. Like I would love to coach like 100 people, but I just can't. I don't have the time for that. But a lot of people have asked for training plans, and so that's something that I think would be kind of cool. So I'm slowing down the coaching individuals. I'm not like taking on any new athletes right now, but I am taking the time that I was spending in bringing in new athletes and like looking for athletes and putting together training plans. So I think I'll have those ready pretty soon. Awesome. Rob Burkett says, doing my first 50 miler in a few months, would love a training plan for that. Cool. Make the best of what's still around. Congrats on 9,000. Awesome. Devin says, I'd be grateful for workouts. Cool. Well, that's cool. Yeah. And it would probably be like, it could be like really simple stuff. It could be like really detailed. The hard part about writing a training plan, and why I've like never done just generic ones, is because it's really hard to write something that can be useful for everybody. But I think I've kind of like I've done a lot of like thinking about this and like trying to like dive deep into like what, kind of like my like coaching tendencies are, and like what I see most of my athletes responding well to. And so, like I love like putting together individual plans for everyone and like writing everybody's workout every day. But I think it can be kind of distilled down to, in a little bit simpler terms, not simpler terms, but more workouts that work, really well for everybody, and just a training plan. And I'm trying to figure out a way to like help make it also flexible. So having kind of like options, like if you're, like taking your rate of perceived exertion from the day before, like keeping track of all of that. And if you get to a point where you've gotten, 5 days in a row where your rate of perceived exertion is a 9 out of 10, like maybe take this path instead. I don't know if I want to make it like that complicated or not, because I think that would be really cool to have like a dynamic training plan that you can almost like what are those books called from, when you're kids, like Choose Your Own Mystery Adventure or something. I think it'd be really cool to like put together a training plan like that. But also a lot more work, a lot more planning would have to go into that. So it might be simpler than that. It might be just kind of like a, 20 weeks of a plan. And if you're feeling great, follow it. If you're not, back it off to 75% of what's recommended. So something like that. But really excited for you guys to see that and to get some feedback on it too. because I think that'd be cool. Let's see what other questions we have in here. Tony Bowen says, is a plan better than trying to do max miles at an easy pace? Yes and no. It's very like that really depends on the athlete. And this is kind of like exactly like there's no one way to do it. Like it's very and I know this like kind of sounds like a cop out, but it's everybody is very unique, and every training plan should be dynamic in that way. So like if you're the type of person that like maybe you get injured really easily because you've got a long history of certain weaknesses and Achilles or certain knee problems or something like that, or you have a health condition that it's maybe not safe for you to really run at your zone 5 pace for very much time. Like that, like there can be some serious implications for some people that try and get into certain workouts like that. And so in that case, maybe, it would be perfect for you to do as many miles as you could at a really easy pace. But for the majority of people that are trying to improve, there's better ways to go about training than just doing every run exactly the same, especially at an easy pace. If you're training for something like a 200 miler where you're going to be going for 4 days, but you're only going to be going 50 miles a day. I say only, but you're doing a 200 miler, you're doing 50 miles a day for 4 days. That might be really great training to do as many miles as you can at an easy pace, because that's going to be really specific to the race. But if you're running a 100 miler, most of these races have a time limit of 30 hours. And in order to do that, you have to be able to run quite a bit of it. So, a lot of, it's really good to have different types of workouts to focus on different parts of your overall energy system. Like we've talked about VO2 max already in this show, kind of like that ultra high end that you can really only do for maybe like 3 or 4 minutes. It's really good to train that part of your engine. Your zone 3, zone 4, zone 5, zone 2, it's really, really good to train all parts of the system and in a specific way, so that as you get closer to your race, you're getting more specific to the type of effort you're going to be putting out. So if you're training for a 100 miler, it's pretty common coaching practice to put an athlete on a plan where 20 to 22 weeks out, up until maybe like 18 weeks or 16 weeks out, you're working on that high end VO2 max, like really short bursts of energy, so that you can kind of like extend the ceiling of your performance, and work on different parts of your muscles, like strengthen a lot of different areas of your tendons and ligaments. And as you work yourself closer to the race, like you'll start doing different types of workouts. You'll start doing longer intervals at a slightly slower pace than you were. So you're going to be doing like maybe 10-minute intervals of, maybe something there where it's kind of hard to keep that pace up for 10 minutes. And as you get closer to your race, you're going to make it much more specific, and you're going to be going out for 6-hour runs at a low pace. So to say, is it better to do one way or another? It depends on the athlete, and it depends on what type of race you're going for. But there is kind of as I've dug into this a lot more, and as I've kind of like looked at how I have been coaching athletes over the years, like it is, some of the approaches are more common, and so that's kind of what I'll be going for these training plans. Let's see. Not fast, just far says, do you ever try fun training runs? I'm all about the adventure of running. So I try to mix in some fun runs. Like, my kids will hide my water bottles. Oh, that's cool. Nice. I've never done anything like creative like that, I don't think. But that would be fun. Let's see here. Oh, Jeff, what's up, man? Ryan, love your films. Glad to hear you're planning on doing more of these in 2021. Awesome. If you guys don't know Jeff, check his name out in the chat. Click on his channel and subscribe because he's got some really good stuff. He just did the documentary with Gary Robbins about the Big Chill. That was a good one. Good job on that, man. Like, honestly, that was great. Tony says, thanks, that helped a lot. Didn't know a lot of 100-milers had 30-hour cutoffs. That's brutal. Yeah, that's most of them are 30 hours. A lot of them are more. But typically, I mean, it's a typical 30-hour cutoff. The harder the race gets, the lower your chances of finishing in under 30 hours become. And so then a lot of times they will extend out the time limit. Like the race I'm doing in May, the Cruel Jewel, has like a 48-hour cutoff. But I've done races that are 30. I've done races that are 36. Yeah, I think I did a race that was 38-hour cutoff. So yeah, they're all a little bit different. I don't know of any that are less than 30, any 100-milers. But yeah. All right. Well, if you guys have any last-minute questions, get them in, because I'm wrapping up now. But yeah, I hope you guys are having a good start to the year and making some. Oh, awesome! What's up? Not fast, just far. Just became a new member. Awesome. Watch your screen. There should be a what do you call it? Animation coming pretty soon. Hopefully it works. Paid money to get these animations to come in, and they're like so slow. But anyway, thank you so much. Not fast, just far. That means a lot to me. Yeah, Plots33 says the Big Chill was awesome. I mean, amazing scenery and cool story. Yeah, it was really cool. I really liked. Yeah, I mean, Jeff, you got a really good eye for B-roll, and I really thought it was cool how you incorporated like GoPro footage, like by pacing him and stuff. That was awesome. So yeah, congrats on that one. I'm so glad it's getting as many views as it is. Like, that's so cool. Dylan says, would you ever consider powerlifting? Nope. Yeah, no comment on my past life when I was in college. Or I used to do a lot of weightlifting. And it was like, yeah, whatever. But no, I'm not a power lifter at all. I do think that it's good to get in the weight room, and yeah, I think there's a lot of benefits for runners. I'll say that. I'm sold, Ryan. I've really enjoyed everything you put together. Thanks, man. Yeah, I like Jeff's European races. Cool. Thanks for joining, Laura. Yeah. But yeah, let's wrap this thing up. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and spending your time with me tonight. Thank you for all the great questions. A lot of really good conversation going on tonight. So thank you so much for stopping by. Look out for, in the next day or two, there'll be a video on like the apps that I tried out for treadmill running. And then, yeah, we're just going to keep cruising. Gonna keep training for races that'll hopefully happen. Like, yeah, hopefully this year hopefully it's going to happen, guys. Hopefully we get some races. But if not, you know, for the most part, most of us can still get out for runs and we can still keep ourselves healthy and we can still push ourselves and create goals that don't rely on other people. That's why I've never like set, I mean, it's really common, that people will do, oh, nice. Andrew, what's up? Thank you so much. Super chat from Andrew Ryder. That's awesome. Thanks, man. But yeah, I was just saying, like, I think like see a lot of YouTubers will make like, subscriber goals or view goals or things like that. And like, I've never, you know, like there it is. Not fast, just far. There's your animation on the screen. New member. Thank you so much. But yeah, I've never, and there's a super chat animation. Awesome. What's up, Andrew? Thank you so much. But yeah, I've never really been into making goals like that, because I can't control it. And so whether it happens or not, yeah, it's indirectly related to how many videos I put out or what the content is like, but it is what it is. If people want to watch my stuff, great. And I'm very thankful for it. But I can't control how many people hit the subscribe button. Yeah. So anyway, that's it. Thank you guys. Oh, John showed up. What's up? Almost missed the Tuesday night live chat. John, you're putting in some serious, some fast miles training for Rocky Raccoon. I mean, it's going to be a fast race. But yeah, I've been checking out your Strava, like lots of like 7-minute miles. Quick, man. Yeah. All right. But that's it. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for stopping by. I will see you guys again soon. Yeah, next Tuesday for sure. But hopefully a couple videos in between now and then. So thanks again. I'll see you soon. Bye.